Hello students, in today's class we are going to discuss about the transcription in eukaryotes. In our previous video we have seen how transcription takes place in prokaryotes. Let us see how the eukaryotic transcription is different from the prokaryotic transcription. We have seen that in prokaryotic transcription, one RNA polymerase was holding all the three steps of initiation, elongation and termination. Unlike that, in eukaryotic transcription, we can see a division of labor in the RNA polymerase functional role. In fact, when we compare the prokaryotic and eukaryotic transcription, in two phases, the complexities we are encountering. There are two complexities in eukaryotic transcription. The complexity number one is the division of labor of RNA polymerase. What does this division of labor stands for? There are three RNA polymerases enzyme which will catalyze the entire process of the RNA formation. And the second complexity is that there is an additional process taking place in eukaryotic transcription, that is what we call cleavage or splicing. We will discuss in detail. Let us see what is the first complexity, the division of labor among the RNA polymerase. As we have seen, RNA polymerase enzyme is for the polymerization of ribonucleotides. After all, we are making three types of RNAs which are very essential for protein synthesis: messenger RNA, ribosomal RNA and transfer RNA. In our previous class, we have seen that messenger RNA will pass the messages for the synthesis of proteins, and the ribosomal RNAs will keep as the site of protein synthesis, ribosome, and the transfer RNA will carry the amino acids which are all scattered in the cytoplasm to the site of protein synthesis, the ribosome. So we have seen what are the three RNAs and their functional role. Let us see what is this RNA polymerase 1's functional role. RNA polymerase 1 will catalyze the formation of ribosomal RNA. We have ribosomes in two subunits. Usually we find ribosomes in the cytoplasm as two subunits. Subunit 1, the small subunit, and subunit 2, the big subunits. These two subunits are held together at the time of translation or protein synthesis. What I am drawing is messenger RNA. So, these two subunits are made up of the RNA. When we look at the structural organization of these ribosome, both the subunits are thickly packed with RNAs. Those RNAs are technically called rRNA or ribosomal RNA. So rRNA is under the control of RNA polymerase 1. In your textbook, three types of RNAs are given. When we see NCERT textbook, you can see that 28S, then comes 18S and 5.8S. You may ask me what is this S stands for. S is a unit. Actually, when we centrifuge the cell organelles, the ribosomes are all settled at this 28S. S stands for the scientist name who found out this centrifugation sedimentation rate, and this is mainly by Swedberg. You can see Swedberg is the scientist who proposed this method of settling units of these these cell organelles. So Swedberg is the major. S stands for. So 28S stands for this 28S sedimentation rate, then 18S sedimentation rate, and 5-point-S sedimentation rate. So all these three categories are coming under the group ribosomal RNA. And the RNA polymerase II technically polymerize or catalyze the formation of the precursor messenger RNA. What is precursor messenger RNA? When messenger RNA is formed, that messenger RNA is not the mature one. They are all the primary transcript. So this primary transcript, the primary transcript messenger RNA is usually called heterogeneous nuclear RNA. That is what we call hnRNA. So simply we call it as hnRNA. The abbreviation is heterogeneous nuclear RNA, which acts like the precursor or the primary transcript or the immature RNA. And the RNA polymerase III stands for the synthesis of or catalyze the synthesis of transfer RNA, which will bring the scattered amino acid from the cytoplasm to the ribosomal site. This is again catalyzed for 5S RNA. 5S RNA, these are the different types. The SR stands for the small unit, the small ribosomes. Then comes snRNA. It will help in the splicing process. Splicing we are going to see as the cleavage process. So there are three types of RNAs produced by the help of RNA polymerase III. So we have seen how these three RNA polymerases will work for the protein synthesis. Now we come to the second complexity, that is what we call the cleavage or splicing. Let us see what exactly happens at this. You can see the primary transcript, that is what we call hnRNA. The primary transcript or immature RNA is formed by the help of normal transcription. You can see that RNA polymerase can separate both the coding and the template strand. We have already studied what is coding and what is template. Against the template, when these RNA polymerase proceed, you can see that the messenger RNA is formed, which is of the category hnRNA. Heterogeneous nuclear RNA, we call it as immature RNA or primary transcript. And for this splicing, the foremost two steps are there. Number one, the step is capping, and the number two step is tailing. What is capping? Let us see. Both these capping and tailing are very essential to protect these messenger RNA. Otherwise, what can happen? These messenger RNA nucleotide, these are ultimately nucleotides. Nucleotides may stand disintegrate because, as we know, the cell is always having some nucleases enzyme in its nucleoplasm. So once these immature form means they are susceptible to get disintegration. How disintegration can take place? Endonuclease enzymes, exonucleases enzyme, which can cut and disintegrate and destroy these messenger RNA since they are immature. So in order to avoid that disintegration or degradation, both the ends we are protecting so that the nucleases enzyme will not damage. So the first step is capping. Let us see how this capping takes place. For this capping process, an unusual nucleotide, just like a cap, unusual nucleotide which is called methyl guanosine triphosphate. Methylation is happening. Methyl group is added to the guanosine. the nucleotide, and 3 phosphate groups are added. So when these methyl guanosine triphosphate will be coming and fixing at the 5' end. This point is very important. Always capping will take place at the 5' end of the HNRNA. So that this part is now protected from the nucleases enzyme. The same way at the 3' end of the HNRNA, there are so many adenine nucleotides are coming. You can see one adenine, second, third, fourth, fifth. All these adenines are coming and joining as a tail. So you call it as tailing process. Both the capping and the tailing will protect the entire immature HNRNA. Now we come to the second step, splicing or cleavage. When we look at this HNRNA, you can see that some pieces are blue in color, some are red in color. So these blue colored piece of nucleotides are technically called introns. Introns are in fact non-coding. They are the non-coding sequence of this RNA. What is the meaning of non-coding? Usually they don't code for a protein. And in between you can see exons. Exons are the true functional coding sequences of protein. So we don't require any introns because they are useless. So we have to cut or splice or throw away. So that is what happens over here. All the exons will be retained and the introns will be taking a fold. You can see small foldings. They are taking twist or foldings and they will later pinched off. They will be removed off and finally we will see only introns are retained. So in this splicing process or cleavage process, all the introns are cleaved or spliced out and only the exons will be retained. So this is what we call exon number 1, E1, E2, E3 and E4. All these E's will be coming. E1, E2, E3 and E4. No more introns. These introns are also called IVS. IVS stands for intervening sequences. In fact, it is non-coding one. So you can see finally all these HNRNAs are now turning to mature RNA. Now you can call it as mature RNA because once it is spliced, mature RNA is fall off. And when we look very carefully this mature RNA, they are having three triplets. You can see first triplet, second triplet, third one, fourth one. First triplet will code for amino acid number 1. Second will code for amino acid number 2. Third will code for amino acid number 3 and so on. And you can see that each amino acid will come close by at the time of translation and finally the protein, the functional protein will be synthesized. In sum up, we can see that eukaryotic transcription has got the functional roles of the 3 polymerase RNA polymerase enzyme and the additional splicing in that capping and tailing. Capping is the addition of an unusual MGPP, that means methyl guanosine triphosphate at the 5' end, and capping is the polyadenylation of the 3' end. Then comes all the exons will be retained and all the introns will be spliced and cut or thrown away. And finally, the HNRNA is transformed into a mature and a functional messenger RNA. This functional messenger RNA will be slowly coming out from the nucleoplasm and it will reach to the ribosome for the process of translation. I hope all the points are clear now. Thank you.